For context, I angered some guy on the freeway, and he followed me for 20 minutes or so until I got stuck at a red light. He got out, pounded on my windows, and started cursing at me. I stayed in the car and said nothing. Eventually, the light turned green, and I drove away. Update: I called the police and filed a report. I couldn't catch the guy's license plate, so I doubt anything will be done. However, I was able to send my dashcam footage along, so maybe something will happen. I'm only 18, but I'm looking into getting a gun permit. I also ordered some pepper spray online. If you don't have a dashcam, I highly recommend getting one. Stay safe, everyone. Story 1. I was going home from work after dark. I was waiting for the traffic light to change to make a turn. Some guy behind me didn't understand that and started honking his horn. He then threw a cup at my car. He followed me for about 10 minutes, changing lanes as I did. I knew the area, so I made a right turn, and he followed. I then turned into the parking lot of a police station, got out of my car, and stood by the door. He slowed down for a moment, then drove on. Story 2. Back in high school, I was driving home with a friend. I didn't realize I had upset this guy or that he was following me home. I lived in a small neighborhood. My dad was working in the garage and noticed the guy following me. He was about to follow me up the driveway until my dad walked out in a jumpsuit carrying a full-sized axe. He stared the guy down as he asked me if I knew him. The guy sped away as fast as he could. Story 3. I pretend to ignore them and look as stupid as I can. I slow down a bit, hang my mouth open like a mouth breather, and just stare ahead like I am oblivious. They typically go to pass and rage up and down at you. Just pretend like you never knew what was going on. It makes them even angrier, but not really at you, just at the fact that they got so worked up for no reason. Story 4. Call the police. While you are driving and they are harassing you, explain the situation and they will send someone to intercept you. Do not go home as they may follow you. There are crazy people out there that hold on to things like this and act like fools. If you explain what is happening to a 911 operator, they will help you. Story 5. On bike. Drop a gear and disappear. Driving a car. If traffic permits, lead him on a merry chase down some back streets for a while and lose him when I get bored. Otherwise, drive to the nearest police station and park out front. Story 6. I used to work with a guy who talked about how he got out of his car and yelled at a young driver who had started into the intersection out of turn, and how he got cut off on the highway and then followed the guy all the way home into his driveway. He acted like he was doing the right thing so people would learn their lessons. I told him that following someone home is how you get arrested or shot. Eventually, he was fired for verbally abusing vendors. Story 7. Take my foot off the gas and crawl down the road at 10 to 15 miles per hour under the limit. Too slow to tailgate, no brake lights to antagonize them, too fast for them to catch me by foot. They'll just pass. Edit. Lots of bad drivers raging below. Simply slowing down is the primary strategy to deal with tailgaters and most other aggressive drivers. Edit 2. Thought it was implied. Merge to the right lane before slowing down. Story 8. If someone is foolish enough to approach my car, I put in my earplugs, and each time they try to speak, I honk the horn, all the while giving them a thumbs up. I have only done this a few times as I am usually pretty calm in the car, but I am old enough to have had many opportunities. It is oddly satisfying to see them become even more enraged while realizing their own powerlessness. Story 9. Ignore them. You did the right thing. Or carry around a metal gauntlet to toss at them when they come to your window asking for a duel. Then drive away while they are dumbfounded. Story 10. Roll open your window just a crack and give them a face full of bear spray. Very few people are capable of driving when they are busy screaming in pain and blubbering snot. You do have to be careful not to get it back in your own face. Keep the wind direction in mind. Story 11. First things first, learn defensive driving. It's about making sure there is enough space between you and the car in front. Always. If somebody cuts you off, let them go, slow down a bit, and create space. It's their license, their car, and their life. Don't engage with other traffic. When you drive, notice what others are doing and either don't do the same or counter what they've done. For example, if somebody races up behind you, just pull over and let them go. If they cut in front of you, imagine how smug they think they are cutting you off. Now imagine how annoyed they are when you drop back and don't show any emotions about it. Your day is fine, but they actually get upset because they didn't upset you. Trust me, there are plenty of drivers out there who do this just to annoy people. You did the right thing by not engaging and getting into a fight, but in the future, stick with defensive driving as that will make incidents like this far more of a memory. Story 12. I will just point at my dashboard camera if the other driver is being a complete tool. Another time, there was a person in a hatchback who was tailgating me but pulled alongside me at a stoplight. Because of his annoying behavior and the fact that the road in front was straight and flat with very little traffic, I engaged launch control and accelerated away. Story 13. Smart move. Do not antagonize or argue back in any way. Random people out there have guns and are just itching to use them at the first sign of resistance. Do not play their game. Stay safe. Story 14. I had a guy rage at me for his own mistake once. He got out of his car in front of me at a red light, came up to my window, and started yelling and pounding on it. I pointed at the search and rescue logo on the window that looks like a sheriff's logo and just said, "I know the sheriff." He ran back to his car so fast as I started picking up my phone. But yeah, generally don't engage. Or call the police and report that the person is doing whatever, and you feel threatened. Story 15. I'm not going to lie, but ever since I got a truck, no one has really road raged towards me. Usually, I try to ignore them depending on my mood. I can remember a couple of times in my younger years when they would get a rise out of me. Story 16. If I'm on my bike, and I don't provoke or ride recklessly like a racing team member unless there are no witnesses, I'll just leave quickly. Like if he's having a bad day and just wants to take it out on someone. Goodbye. In my truck, I just won't engage. That said, I'm getting my concealed carry permit soon. Story 17. I never engage at all. I honk to let them know to watch out, and I'll never double honk. I've been given the finger, sworn at, and aggressively honked at, and never engaged. Never forget that you're behind the wheel of a weapon that can kill you and others. On that note, graveyards are filled with people who had the right of way. Story 18. My method is to just smile and wave while both cars are moving. It usually annoys them more but allows me to stay polite. Now, when the person decides to get out and touch my car, I get upset since I'm a car detailer. Story 19. Is this a United States only thing where people get out of cars and pound on your window after following you? Here in Germany, I mostly lower the window and simply show the middle finger if someone is pissing me off. Sometimes I just ignore it. If it happens that we drive to the same destination, then I actually get out and tell her or him to maybe get some driving lessons instead of buying driving licenses in Poland. Story 20. Depends on where I'm going. Store or something. I'll just keep driving to my destination, and if they follow me all the way there, let the confrontation happen. Going home or work. I'll take the next exit, pull in somewhere public, and let the confrontation happen there. Now, if he got out of the car like that and started beating on my window, he would have been looking down the barrel of a gun. That being said, most of the time, if you just give these people a "hey, sorry about that," they will walk away without an issue. Story 21. I carry a gun in my car, so the minute he comes to my window, I pull, point, and scream at him to get back in his car or he will be shot. 99% of the time, this scares the shit out of people and they run. Story 22. Call 911 if safe to do so to report a road rager on your tail. Yes, you may have started the road rage, but drivers are not supposed to fight back. You never know how long they will follow you, so it is best to call just in case. Otherwise, if the road rager tries to engage with you, do not engage, do not make eye contact, do not say anything back, and keep the doors closed and windows up. Let this driver sitting calmly in his car serve as an example of how you should be reacting to a road rager. Story 23. This never happens in Ireland. We give an angry beep or honk and happily move on with our day, content in the knowledge that the other driver knows he's a clown. I'm not specifically saying this happened in America, but it seems to be where it mostly occurs. So why not just honk the horn like normal people? Story 24. If it is in traffic, do not engage and get the license plate, and defend yourself if they try to attack you. If it is on an open highway and your car is faster than theirs, I would play some games. Story 25. If you are ever on an active road or highway and someone pulls up on you to road rage, just hit the gas and change your direction. There is no need to waste your time on some idiot. Story 26. I really thought that unhinged was totally unrealistic. I'm from Austria, and the worst thing that happens here is getting honked at, but it seems that it might not even be that far-fetched. Story 27. Call the police. My father is a police officer and a traffic inspector, and traffic laws are a little bit different in my country. So he can write a ticket anywhere, it doesn't matter if he is on duty or not. He still just calls the police because he doesn't want to make it personal. Story 28. Mace pepper spray. I advocate it for anyone. Get out, point it at them, but back off. Don't approach. The world is full of violent sickos. You've got to protect yourself. Story 29. I had a guy once who wouldn't let me over. It was at the shore, and the main road is 3 lanes in each direction. The far right is for the buses and right turns. A guy drove in that lane right in my blind spot for over a mile. If I slowed down, he slowed down. If I sped up, so did he. Finally, I was coming up on my turn to get to the restaurant I was meeting my family at. So I sped up suddenly, got in front of him, and made my turn into the restaurant parking lot. He honked his horn, and the passenger threw a cup at my back window. No idea what his problem was. Story 30. You did well. My number 1 tip that helped me finally chill from road rage is never ever look at the other driver. You can get mad at the car and say, forget that goddamn Acura or whatever, but under no circumstances do you look at the driver themselves. If you do, it will suddenly become personal. Do not look. And just imagine it was a cute old lady or something if that helps. Story 31. If someone is being aggressive like that, find the nearest police station and pull into the parking lot. Wait 20 minutes for him to cool off and continue with your day. Above all, do not let that person's inability to manage their anger like an adult ruin your day. He ruined his own day, which was his choice. Story 32. Drive to a police station if necessary. When they go off, it's not road rage. It's just rage. Thousands and thousands drive, make mistakes, and nobody flips out. Those who rage over anything rage over events on the road. You did a smart thing. Story 33. Oh, I got one. Obviously, the first move should be to yield and just let them move on. They are not mad at you. They are mad at your vehicle. Don't give them a reason to become mad at the guy inside. So I'm in one of the great southwestern states in the good old United States. The Wild West. Our gun laws are among the most favorable in the entire country, and I always keep this in mind. One day, I'm taking one of my seldom drives onto the freeway, and I guess I hadn't put my hood all the way down the other day after doing my oil change, and my hood starts trying to come up. Set maximum speed on a 65 freeway to 35, stay right, and plan to hop off the freeway at the next possible exit. Well, a guy in a huge lifted truck with United States flags, raging off-road tires, Flowmasters, and illegal front window tint doesn't like my speed selection. Riding my back, honking, aggressively repositioning within the slow lane, etc. Like, bro, calm down. So I get off the freeway, and at normal road speed, the hood lifting is not an issue. The driver is still riding my back, laying on the horn even though this particular off-ramp is no turn on red. I turn right, and the dude is immediately on my bumper. He could have gone around about 2 to 3 times by now. So I move to the left lane and prepare to enter the shopping center. The guy is still right on me. An idea kicks in. I could pull into a Nationwide Instrument rip-off center, Wiener Sports of all sorts, or a cheap particle furniture center with confusing instructions. None of those seem appropriate. Oh, I know. I hang a right, and the guy is still on my back until I pull into the closest space directly in front of one of the biggest indoor firing ranges in the state. He definitely got the point because after a second, he floored that thing and careened out the back of the parking lot. So yeah, in short, don't engage. And if they seem intent on ruining your day, pull into somewhere brightly lit, crowded, and safe. Story 34. Do a Daniel Tosh, Find an exit where a homeless person is asking for change. Give him $20 and tell him to go nuts on the car behind you. Respect earned. $20 well spent. Homeless person happy. Win-win-win. Story 35. This happened to me a few years ago. My city in the heart of downtown had 3 lanes merging into one, the middle one, before hitting the entrance ramp to a major highway. Anyway, I am sitting in the middle lane which has the right-of-way. I let one car ahead of me merge in, but there was a car in the lane to the right that was even with me. I guess this guy expected me to hit my brakes and let him in. As the merge lane ends, he stays even with my car and then forces into my lane. He slams on the brakes just before entering the highway, gets out of his car, and comes at me. I pick up my phone like I am calling emergency services. He stops, spits on my car, then returns to his car and drives off. He was pure white trash. I have heard that people who do not have a lot of money value a place in line. That is something they can own over someone else. Story 36. I was followed once because I cut someone off. I was going 75 and he was going 70. I merged in front of him, turned signal and all, and he apparently took offense to that. His response was to follow me even after exiting the expressway. My response was to get back on the expressway and accelerate. His giant old Ford F-250 pickup could not keep up with my Mustang, and I lost him and exited. Probably not the smartest idea, but it was a lot of fun at the time. Story 37. 1. Do not engage, but do not ignore. It's easier said than done, of course, but try to keep an eye on them without staring or making eye contact. 2. Try to note the car make, model, plate number, and the description of the driver. A dash cam could help a lot. Even outside of road rage incidents, I highly recommend everyone have a dash cam. 3. If they seem to be going out of their way to follow you or driving aggressively, be prepared to at the very least call 911 to report them. Alternatively, drive to a public place. A police station would be great, but might not be feasible in many situations. Just remember not to drive home or to a private or secluded area. For do not engage.